But back to going out that last day, there was times, especially going up the hills, I just thought, man, I could phone an Uber and just book an Uber and just head back, because, you know, I felt in terrible shape. But pushing through that, you know, because the stress in my body would have been high, pushing through that, psychologically I was getting little wins. So about 3 points in that ride, I was like, look, I'm cooked, I'm done. But I thought, let me just get to the next point. Let me just get to the next point. And then that happened 3 times, where eventually I was like, right, look, I'm going to make this. And at the end of that ride, what happens is you've embraced the stress, because the stress is there to get you to where you need to be. And sure, it can be a warning. It can be a warning to ease off and that type of thing. I totally understand that. And you should definitely listen to your body, but you should also do what you can do. And then that was an example of what I could, because I did finish that ride and I did get it done. And I'm glad that I did. And, you know, I was no worse off for doing it. In fact, I think it proved, because what it did was give me the psychological edge that, hey, look, I know that I can push through even when I'm not at my best and I don't feel great. It was, the opportunity was, I couldn't do it again tomorrow because it was the last day. So it was now or never. And then I grasped that opportunity and I pushed through to get it done. And it opens up that whole sort of, should you push or shouldn't you? And I believe that unless you're in mortal danger, I definitely think that you should push, because you should see what you've got. And that then rolls on. So I come home, I've got an event the next weekend, and it's a big event, and it's touch and go, because I'm still very much unwell. And, you know, I'm like, look, I maybe need to ease off. I show up and get done what I can do throughout the week, try and rest and recover best I can. Comes to the Saturday, and I'm feeling like hacking up along. I mean, I'm literally, I went out, rode my bike, see if I could, like, I'm trying to assess if I can do this event on the Sunday, the day before in the Saturday. And I mean, there was no Oscar performance here. I was really, really in poor shape. Even people that knew me were like, man, like, we'd never seen you like this. And they're like, should you be out here? And I'm like, well, you know, look, there's people in way worse situations than me, in war-torn countries, that don't have a choice. They need to get through it, and they're pushing through. And I'm like, you know, I'm going to make it. I'm going to get it done. And it's that embracing the pain and the stress that helps raise your level up. Because what happens is, psychologically, and here you're like, right, look, let me face it. Let me see if I can push. So he ends up getting the ride done, goes up the next day, has a go. And I set a blistering time, had a fabulous time out. And I remember meeting my good friend Simon on the start line, and he was laughing and joking, because he's a guy that also likes to push. He embraces the stress. He likes to push himself, because when you learn to thrive in stress, what happens is you realise that discomfort that you feel is actually where you grow. You feel that you're getting better. You feel that you're improving. So you seek that discomfort. You want to get out of your comfort zone. I don't recommend doing it, you know, just because you're unwell. But that was the particular circumstances. You can do it with training. And I think with most people, they get the adaptations. It's like, if you want to grow a bicep and you're like, right, look, how do I get a bicep and I want to grow it big? You need to put that muscle under stress. Same with any of your cardiovascular system, your mindset, your perception of things. You need to put stress on so that you adapt. That's how you get fit. That's how you get fast. That's how you get strong. So without the stress, you don't adapt, and without the adapt, you don't get better. So there's the pattern. To grow, you need to have stress, so you adapt, so that you grow. And then that cycle begins as you do it again and again and again. And in this case, it was a case of, I wasn't in best physical shape, but I was glad that I did it, because, as I said to Simon, he was like, you're like, you know, how rough? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to suffer today. And I knew that I was going to suffer. And I was like, I'd be happy if I can get round. You know, I had no time in mind. I thought, if I can get round in 5 hours, I'll be delighted. I managed to get round in 4 hours and 28 over a very hilly 85-mile course. Fabulous event with the ETAP Caledonia. Had a great time, really well put on event. It was sunny and bright in the morning and absolutely freezing. So maybe the clothing choice wasn't on point, because I was dressed for more of a summer. Thankfully, it did warm up after about 40 miles, but by 40 miles, I couldn't feel my fingers. So mercifully, the sun did come out and I started to feel better. And it's the same thing like when we were during that event, because during that event, I started to get cramp. And because I've cycled so much, I understood, like, my body needed more fluids, it needed more salt, and I needed to get my nutrition in. And if anybody's done any sort of endurance events, you know that you don't really want to eat when you want to drink. So you're sort of forcing it down. And rather than thinking, oh, this cramp's going to stop me from doing it, I had 45 miles left. But rather than looking at it and how am I going to, finish, I was like, right, look, I know what I need to do. So let me get as much fluid in as I can. Let me keep getting it down and let me just ease off the pedals a wee bit and just try and let my body get back into rhythm. And guess what happened? Body responded. Just started to come back to life. It started to ease up. It started to absorb the fluids and the salts. And yes, I was coming back to life. And this is the thing. It's taking yourself to that point and knowing that you can get past it, knowing that you can respond positively to it, knowing that you can get a positive outcome. These are the things, these are the reasons that you should always try and push into these environments. And stress is a prime environment where you can get growth. And that's why changing your relationship with stress is a powerful thing. And it's why you should consider if you've been lied to about stress, because stress is a powerful, useful tool. It will make your body respond in ways that you never thought possible. And there you go, end of the event, had a great time, had a great day. And I would have been really disappointed if I missed that, but just said, look, you're not in best shape, just take it off, just miss it, because I would have been really disappointed in myself. And that disappointment would have hurt a lot, because disappointment really hits home. And you know that if you feel disappointment as strongly as I do, the disappointment would have been way worse than the pain of showing up and getting it done. And that's the thing about putting yourselves in those environments, because when you do, you will respond, your body will respond, and your body will adapt. So that's the power of stress, why you should consider that stress is a powerful and positive tool. I'd love to hear what things that you have been stressed about, and if you've changed, if you've managed to change your mindset and your mind frame about it, change, more importantly, your beliefs about stress, and if you've had any examples of that. And if you haven't done that yet, and you'd like me to take a look at any of the ones, in the comments section, let me know things where we can help you, point you in the right direction.